Hey yo, your friendly neighborhood quarter guy here! And recently, the producer of Zelda, Eiji Aonuma, recently announced that Zelda for Wii U is going to be delayed. Yeah, apparently during the development process, the team kept coming up with lots and lots of new ideas, and it's getting harder to commit to a release schedule. So, instead of committing to a release schedule, they're going to take as long as they need to make it the best game they can possibly be. And already, people seem to be complaining. They're claiming that Nintendo's been lying to them, and that they can no longer be trusted, and generally that kind of stuff that comes with delays. Well, let me ask you something. Do you want it done fast, or do you want it done right? Let me give you an example of a game that got critically panned thanks to it having been rushed. Sonic 06 had all the pieces in place to be a good Sonic game, possibly one of the best, but thanks to the fact that it was rushed due to fan demand, it ended up being buggy, broken, and downright not good. At least from what I understand, I haven't actually played the game. But would you want Zelda for Wii U to be the same thing? And for those of you who are going to throw out the argument that the Wii U isn't having any games this year, let me just debunk your statement with a few things. Let's see. Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out this year. Star Fox for Wii U is coming out this year. Splatoon. Yoshi's Woolly World. Devil's Third. And perhaps, maybe, Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. So there. You've got some games right there. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know Zelda Wii U is going to be worth the wait. Well, that's all I have on that matter. Short show today. So let's move on to the fourth wall mailbag. Didn't get a lot of questions this week, so just a reminder, if you want to submit questions for the fourth wall mailbag, go to my channel, click the About tab, and hit the Send Message button. That's all you need to do. First question comes from Jonathan Kimmel, who asks, what is your favorite Mega Evolution? I would have to say Mega Gallade. And the reason for this is, for one thing, its stats are pretty cool. It's great to use as a fighting and psychic type regardless, but its stats are definitely more viable in its Mega form. But what really gets me is the design. I mean, when I look at Mega Gallade, I basically see Yuya Sakaki from Yu-Gi-Oh! Art 5. I mean, the cape-like coat, the arms that look like dual discs, the design of the head, well, the hair color, basically. It looks like Yuya's hair. I can just imagine if Mega Gallade could speak human language, probably the first things it would say is, ladies and gentlemen! Oh boy, Yuya's so hilarious sometimes. Next question comes from Danny11229, who asks, have you ever played FPS games? Well, I'm not as big a fan of the FPS genre as a lot of hardcore gamers tend to be nowadays. However, I have played a few FPS games that I enjoyed. Back in college, I got some enjoyment out of Time Splitters 2. Wasn't necessarily good at it, but I digress. Also, recently, over the past couple of years, I've gotten into Team Fortress 2, as well as the Borderlands series. They're fun, they're exciting, and they're just enjoyable. Team Fortress 2 for its team-based gameplay and its emphasis on teamwork and the unique character classes. And Borderlands, for one thing, the story's gotten interesting, and as well as the vast assortment of guns, and more guns. It's probably the first time I've seen a game actually attempt to justify bazillion as an actual number. Just to quantify the number of guns in the game. I mean, there's so many variations. Stats, manufacturers, weapon types, elements attached to them. It's insane, really. Unfortunately, it gave rise to one of the biggest a-holes in gaming history. Screw Handsome Jack. Seriously, screw him. I know people are gonna say that he's such a well-written and hilarious villain, but I cannot stand him. Next question comes from Kitsune Hawk. Hey kid, how you doing? He asks, have you heard about the upcoming Tokiden Kiwami? I've actually seen some footage of that, and it looks really good. I mean, from what I hear, it's basically Tecmo Koei's take on Monster Hunter, and the gameplay definitely looks the part. I mean, lone hunters with ridiculous-looking weapons taking on even more ridiculous-looking monsters. And from what I've read, it takes some interest from Japanese mythology, which I think is a nice touch. It's always nice to see mythological references in video games. I mean, let's see, Sengoku Basara, Okami, King of Fighters. Japanese mythology seems to be a thing for me. I like Japanese mythology. Last question comes from Joey Vivian, who asks, which game would you request for me as my first 3DS game? MH3U or MH4U? I would have to say MH4U, because Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate got rid of the water mechanic, and while I really didn't have problems with the underwater fighting in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, it kind of gave issues with how slow you are underwater compared to how mobile monsters are underwater. That being said, Monster Hunter 4 has so much going for it. I mean, it's got even more monsters, it has better designed environments. It takes a lot of, it also has a lot of vertical dimension to the gameplay, especially how you can jump on top of a monster and attack it while you're mounted on top of it. Also, the Gormagala. When you face that monster, just the Gormagala. But then again, I'm not the kind of person who should be telling you how to spend your money.